everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's your boy Rico, no Suave. Yes, we are here. We are back, and we are ready, baby. Yes. Bienvenido a todos, mi gente. Once again, thank you. It is another great day for a talk show for you and your family, your friends. And check this out. If you're actually eating right now, save me a plate. I'll be over shortly. That's what I'm talking about. And you know who also is hungry with me? My co-host, Valerie Malesio. What's up, Valerie?
Hey. Muchas felicidades. We are still entering the new 2023 year. Everything's going good for me, so far. I hope everybody else is having a great year.
Yes.
And yes, if you're eating right now, save me a plate.
Please.
We will be over.
We hungry. We hungry. We want to get in there. We want to eat too. Right? Yeah, so it's been a great week, everybody. We got a lot of great things that's actually coming up as far as for the show for this year. Yes, this is the second show of the year, everybody, 2023. One big thing is there's a lot of things that's been happening that's been positive, that's been happening for the Rico No Suave show, but also I'm sure in your life I've been seeing a lot of positivity on social media, which I'm really loving about this.
I'm loving lately that social media is just all about good news.
Yes.
Whereas versus every time you turn on the regular TV news, it's like something craziness that's happening out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we want to hear about it, but I'm loving the good news. So please
keep that positivity going.
Positivity going.
And you know what also was positive? We got to bring up MLK. We got to bring him up. We got to bring up MLK, baby. All right, everybody. Yes, we want to say happy birthday to Martin Luther King. Yes, Jr., baby. Happy birthday to Martin Luther King. Such a great inspiration. We celebrate him every year, right? And when we celebrate him every year, this is it's a refresher to let everybody know that it's all about being diverse. It's all about freedom for all and everyone being equal by not just by the color of our skin, but also the experience that we may have as people, as human beings, right?
And I love that word you used, a refresh.
Oh, of course.
Because the fact that we do celebrate him every year allows us to kind of go back and dive into those lessons.
Yes.
And he's just such a phenomenal person.
Yeah, and speaker.
And it helps you go and tune into that every year. Not that I don't read about him every day.
Sure.
But I love that it makes me take a moment out of my day and go back and listen to some of his speeches or read some of his writings because, oh my God, he's just one of the most phenomenal people who ever walked.
And it's so crazy how we walk into the footsteps of him being a legend to a lot of us, right? And it's so crazy because a lot of the people that knew exactly what he was fighting for was major. And then also the people that was against him when it came to racism or when it came to just saying he's just too powerful, right? It was just knowing that he can bring all of those people together for one monumental day to say, I have a dream.
He had that ability to have a panoramic view. A panoramic perspective, if you will.
Yeah.
So he didn't get caught up in his moment of emotional anger. I'm sure he got angry and upset.
Of course.
Like everybody else.
Human. Yep.
But he just had his bandwidth was just such a broader view than what was just in that specific moment.
Yes.
And that is so very hard because all of us, man, if something happens, we just want to fly off. I'm mad, I'm angry. We just want to fly off the handle and handle things, in the moment. And somebody, as powerful as him, he took that second to think before acting.
And I think one of the things is that knowing that having that experience, but also having that love for people, no matter how much people hated him, but also showing that love as far as for people to see how diverse it was.
That was his quote.
But that
he chose love.
Love all day. And I think the love piece also tells us, and also for young people, right, that wasn't able to really dive into who he really was. I kind of take the protests, the protesting that happened here in Chicago and across the world during COVID times and being able to see what they're standing up for, but also to be able to see, excluding a Black Lives Matter, right? Because we know what happened with that. We're talking about the diversity of Hispanic, African-American, white, Chinese, Asian, people that actually came out to protest in regards to what really mattered. And it kind of felt like I have a dream, right? In regards to, I have a dream for us to be able to come together as one nation and having the racism, keep that apart, right? But also fighting for something that we believe in. So, Martin Luther King, man, you're such an inspiration. And we love you, man. We love you so much. All right, everybody, I got to introduce this. I have to introduce this beautiful young lady. I had a chance to actually work with her before, right? I had a chance to actually work with her at one of the weddings. I think it was only one wedding that I actually met her, and she was like, "Hey, Rico, I heard you had a show." I'm like, "Yeah, I got a show." I said, "What's going on? What's going on?" Right? And she was like, "I heard you got a show." She said, "I want you to put me on your show." I said, "You sure? I got to make sure you fit the qualifications." Right? And she was, she was like, she said, "I'm here already. You know what I do, right? And you doing kind of the same thing in the industry." I said that's what she got me. She got me at hello. And then she got me at coordination. Right. She got me at wedding, right? She got me in the industry, right? So I couldn't help but to say yes, right? And also, this young lady is, it's at the altar. There's a lot of things that goes behind as far as at the altar when it comes to preparation for couples and preparation for the audience. And also when it comes to wedding coordination, she has been hitting the market hard, even starting from a local small business, but it probably feels right now like she has a Fortune 500 company because all of the things that's been coming on as far as with her. And we're so blessed to actually have her here. Now, I'm going to say her last name, and I hope you guys can say it with me. Because once I bring her up, you already know. I want you guys to stand up. If you got a folder and you already ordained, you can actually repeat after me. Put your hands together for none other than officiant and wedding coordinator. Her name is Elizabeth Staniszewski.
Oh, that was so close.
Oh, yeah!
You added a whole other syllable.
I was almost there. I said Staniszewski. I was almost there. How you doing, love?
Let me try.
Go ahead.
Staniszewski.
Very good.
Staniszewski. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think she whispered that in your ear.
She used the 3 syllables.
Yes, I remember Staniszewski.
Staniszewski.
You threw a whole other word in her name.
Hey, you know what? She'll know that. She'll probably know it's me anyways. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome. We are so happy to actually have you here today. And, to be able to talk about, event planning, we talk about, but people don't know what happens behind the scenes, right? Mm-hmm. And people don't know how it is to be able to start a wedding planning company, but also to become an officiant as well as a wedding coordinator. Because those are kind of two separate things, right? When it comes to the industry itself. So let's start off. The movement in regards to you becoming an officiant, where did that come from?
My sister and her wife, they asked me to officiate their wedding.
Yes.
And it was a Thanksgiving, and I said, "Oh, sure, I would love to do it." And so I was like, "Okay, what classes do I need to take? What do I need to do?" And she sent me a link. I clicked on it, and it was over. And I was so nervous when that happened because I'm thinking, "Oh my God, there's no way I'm qualified to do this. It can't be this. There's no way it can be this easy."
Right.
So when I did that, I just decided, well, now that I am ordained, it took 10 seconds. I need to do the legwork.
Yes.
I need to do the research and find out what it all entails. And so I did her ceremony, and that was in 2018. And then right around 2020, I was sitting at my kitchen table thinking to myself, what do I want, or where do I want to be when I retire? Like, do I want to retire in my current position, as an office admin or office manager? Is that where I want to be?
Sure.
And I'm thinking, no, I want to retire while I still have the gumption to do things, with my grandchildren, travel. I like to travel. So what can I do, and what kind of business can I create that would give me the flexibility that I need?
Sure.
And I just kind of went back to that, and I did the research, and I played around with, the numbers, and I just went out there and saw like what was going on. There was not a lot of companies, if any, like ours. Mm-hmm. Yes, you have your priests, your pastors, and your officiants. Yes. But you didn't have a company that solely offered that as a service. So a lot of people were like, "Wow, that's incredible that you made a business out of this." And I was like, I didn't think about it. I just kind of like, this is what I want to do. This is what we're going to move towards. And with the support of my family, it took off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I think when it comes to, an officiant and wedding coordination, and I keep saying it because, being in that industry and knowing how those two things are like really separate and how you're trying to put those together.
Yeah.
A lot of times the public just doesn't understand that at first.
It's so hard, but it's hard to be able to know. But here's a kicker part about that movement is that you fell in love with someone telling you, hey, you should do this, of course, right?
Yeah.
By the love, right?
Yeah,
by the love.
for sure.
And then, of course, you sat down and you thought about it. He's like, listen, man, I ain't planning on taking orders from people that much time.
Right?
I ain't got that much time, right?
I said I deserve the American dream. How do I get there,
Right. And when you did that, though, so one of the things is that, sitting there and contemplating on where you wanted to actually be and where you wanted to actually go, that movement, so that kicked you into the groove of becoming an officiant.
Yeah.
The wedding coordination, though, that's a separate step in regards to that. How did that come together?
I think I just, one day after doing a wedding and someone saying, hey, do you also do this? And I was like, sure, I can do that, so, and I had the resources. I had the vendor backing, I had the connections, if you will, or contacts with other vendors. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, I could do this. So we did a small kind of a planning event, which worked out nicely. And it really just took off. I'm like, wow, I could do this. I certainly can do this. And it's been a roller coaster ride since, let me tell you. Sometimes I wonder I should have just stuck to officiating.
When it comes to you doing the officiant and the wedding coordination, have you done both on one wedding?
My company has done both at one wedding. So
have you done
both?
Both.
Oh, no. That's a lot.
See, okay.
That's a lot because I have to be there to prep everything. Then I have to stop to make sure I'm at the altar to do the service, and then I have to make sure that the next thing follows. So that's just way too much to do for one person. Yeah. So I have my daughter, who's also an officiant and a coordinator.
Okay.
As part of she's my number 2 as far as persons in the the hierarchical chart of business. Yeah. And so we did do a ceremony where she did the officiating and I did, the coordination with another assistant.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun. It's nice. I love working with her. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
But
she's cool. I met her before. That's
Ariel.
I think I met her before.
I think I might have seen her here.
Yeah, I think we've seen her too. Yeah, she's cool. She's pretty cool. All right, cool. So you guys know she is in the office today. She's in the law with us, everybody. So you guys know. I'm really excited about it. And Valerie, I know she has questions as well, too. But I'm really excited to actually have you here because there's a lot of things that we go through when it comes to weddings. And, also, Valerie performs at weddings as well. So she sees as far as the coordination. She sees exactly how things work. When it comes to, so we understand the movement, right? Mm-hmm. And if you guys got questions, please go ahead and ask them. We will be answering those questions. But when it comes to the officiant piece, of course, being ordained is easy. We know that.
Yes.
The couple piece, the couples. Sorry, I got the chuckle. So the couples piece. There's so many couples that you can say yes to, and there's some couples that you're like, my nerves. Yeah. I don't know.
I should have said no.
So that I should have said no. Yes, because we're so loving and we love what we do. Yeah. What has been your experience in regards to couples that you're like, I don't think y'all should get married?
Oh, well,
have you ran into that situation where
I have not?
Okay,
no,
cool.
I haven't. Thank goodness, because I don't know if I could be the one to be like, you guys don't belong together. Just stop talking to each other right now.
He's like, keep my card because I'll be marrying you again to somebody
else.
In a couple years. Make sure good references. I thought your question was going to go into just like people that are difficult to deal with. Like, have you ever had a couple where you just turned down the business and said, you know what, I may not be the right fit?
No, I absolutely probably don't refuse anybody. And, my daughter and my husband both give me that, like, oh, Mom. you're too nice. And I'm like, it's their wedding. And, you know, I have such a passion for what I do. I feel like I can work with anybody. And, you know, thank goodness. And by the grace of God, I've just kind of just sucked it up. And if I had something that was not working, you know, as perfect as I'd liked, I pushed through it. You know, we've done that before. So I always give 100%. And it may not be the ideal situation or the ideal bride or groom. Yes. But I'm there to do a job. So I leave the personal feelings out of it.
And that's good, being professional. But in the inside.
Oh, no, that's when I go to the car.
We tend to rumble. Right? We tend to get our nerves.
That's the ride home. That's the ride home. Why? What was I thinking?
Because I know. Like, you know, I know sometimes when I get in my car and I finish a wedding and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to last, but I'm going to put some music on. And then sometimes, you know, when I leave, sometimes I might want to put some hardcore music on because I'm like, let me get this stress out. Because one of the things is that being organized is one of the biggest things becoming a wedding coordinator as well as an officiant. When I see you guys go up to do the officiant piece and I'm doing the ceremony and I'm like, man, okay, good luck. Right? That's my thing because we're working as a team, right?
Right.
And I'm like, good luck. But then I've seen people that have done it for the first time do it and they're like sweating bullets. Right? Like they're sweating and I'm like in the back like, you got this, right? Yeah. In the back end. When it comes to you being nervous in front of, well, let me ask you a question. Let me say it again. Do you get nervous with certain crowds or certain audience that they might not respond to you the right way?
I think in the beginning, when I first started doing these, as the events got larger, it was a little nerve-wracking to stand in the church or the venue has got, you know, 200 people in the audience and I'm thinking, oh Lord, what, you know, like, okay. But the one thing that we practice is, you know, my couples, they get a sample of what I'm going to say. So there aren't any surprises. So that there won't be like, okay, why did she say that? Or, oh my gosh, you know. So my take on that is if they're comfortable with what I'm saying, the rest of the audience doesn't matter.
Okay.
And that's just being truthful. Okay. Because this is what they want their ceremony to be. This is how they want it to be remembered. Yes. And if I didn't get their okay on that before I hit that podium, then yes, there would be an issue, I'm sure. But it's about them and their day and what they want. So I'm there to deliver what their vision is.
I love that. I love that. Well, truth be told, like the officiant that officiated my marriage, I flew to Puerto Rico, didn't know where I was going to get married, was like, all I did was connect with the officiant for us to do all this stuff. And if you are anything like, amazing.
Thank you.
It's amazing because she rolled with it. You know, I'm like, okay, we're here for a couple days. I don't know where we're going to get married. I just want it on a beach. Don't care which one. I'll know when I see it. I'll know when I see it. You know what I mean? Like my husband and I are busy people, so we have like 4 days. I'm like, I got 4 days in my calendar. Let's get there, get out, do what we need to leave. We drove by a beautiful spot, and I'm like, that's it. Yeah. And she just rolls with it. And you know, my mother's passed, so it was just myself and my husband to be at the time, and our witnesses. Okay. And then our kids, our little ones, the older ones, my son came, but the other two didn't make it. So we just kind of like were there to do this, and it was about me and him, and she was so patient and just so roll with it, and like me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting married, and she's like, it's all okay. Good, everything's good. It's all right. You know, beach veil blowing in my face, oh, it's good. You know, everything is just that calmness.
Yeah, I just try to calm.
And I can tell by talking with you, like, you have that calmness.
Thank you. I do calm them down when I'm at the altar. I can see, you know, the groom sitting there, and he starts going, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then I'm like, put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, you're fine. Take a moment. Yes. Inhale. This is the love of your life.
At Lydia's wedding, they took a shot.
Yeah.
Right
before the altar. They took a shot before the ceremony.
Oh my goodness. I've stood up in weddings where like literally in the car on the way to the church.
Yeah.
She's just
chugging it.
And I was like, you want to make sure you can walk.
Yeah. Otherwise, there might be a question as to, are you here because you want to be? Because you're a little drunk.
Start the party already.
I had one wedding where, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but my literal job was to walk around with the bottle behind the bride.
Wow.
That was my job.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. And if she's watching this, she's gonna kill me. But yeah.
Wow.
But yeah. So I mean, everybody has those like jittery moments. And like, have you ever had anybody where you're just like had to do a pep talk and just really pull them out of a...
No, I just really just do it at the altar. You know, like I said, most of the time it's the guy that freaks out a little bit. And I don't think that he's freaking out because he doesn't know, why am I here? And do I want to do this? It's just more nerves like, oh God. And he's sweating and he's crying. And I'm like, you're literally falling apart, dude. Bring it together. I'm like, it's fine. You're fine. I'm like, and one time I just looked at the guy. I was just kind of break it up a little bit. And I'm like, you do want to be here, right? And he just starts laughing, and I just look at him, and I'm like, now you feel better, right? And I go, okay, let's get you married.
So, it's funny that you're saying that because we have, hello, Betty Escobar's checking in. Beatrice Davis, she said, anything funny ever happened that Elizabeth couldn't stop laughing during the officiation?
Oh,
that's a good one right there.
That is a good question. It would have to have been, there was, during COVID, there was a lot of backyard weddings. Mm-hmm. And it was one that you went with, my daughter came with me on this one. And the vows, the guy started saying his vows, and he started just going on. And he started so emotional. And then he's like, I'll take out the garbage. And I was just like, and
that's a good man, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We all three of us, I mean, we got a photo of us just going because it was so out of context, and we were all just taken aback by it. And I was just like, I'm like, girl, he's a keeper. We want to keep that, man. He said garbage, laundry, whatever,
right?
You know, and just I said
those vows.
I said, if you ever find clothes on the floor, play the video. Remind him gently. Be like, oh, you're watching our vows? Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer your couples to, like, plan things out, like, steadily? Because, like, I have to go back to me because I was, like, fly by this moment.
You mean as far as coordination?
Yeah.
I absolutely welcome that, love that about my brides. Our last few brides were so efficient. They were just like, here's everything. Here's the timeline. Here's you don't have to do anything. Just show up and make sure this happens. I'm like, okay. Thank you.
Man, dude.
Do you have a sister getting married soon?
Right, exactly. Exactly, man.
I'll do that all day.
There.
I'll do all day. And those are my favorite brides because they know what they want.
Right.
And you think, first you think, oh God, control freak, this is going to be a nightmare. You know, she wants control of everything. But she literally wanted me to just go, here you go. And I'm walking away, now Liz, handle it. And I was like, wow, okay. You know, this is really good. And she was not a bridezilla. She was great. She actually was checking in with me. Everything's good, Liz. Did you eat? You know, I'm like, oh, yeah. Thank you. You know, but it was surprising, but I absolutely welcome that. They know what they want. So they do all the planning. So my day is basically my job is just to execute that timeline.
Yeah.
All the events of that day.
Yeah.
He knows.
Before we get into the officiating coordination, from the officiating going into the wedding coordination, because it's the two separate pieces.
Okay.
Before we get to a break, I have to say that when it comes to officiating, have you ever been, and these like the bloopers, right? The bloopers I had because people already know, right? Have you ever caught yourself like when the DJ was actually had you on the mic, your mic was on and you were talking and then people can hear, and if the groom or the groom is getting crazy and he's like, you know, you're saying something, you're like, bro, just calm down, bro. Right? And then you hear it and everybody starts laughing,
No, it was a lot more faced at me. I was at actually the Hotel Baker, and we were doing a wedding, and I didn't know that my mic was on, so I'm walking through to the ceremony, and I'm just chit-chatting, blah, 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 and then someone said something funny, and I just started screaming, ah! And people just,
Who is that cackling in the back?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm thinking, holy crap, they don't realize that I'm the officiant.
Right.
And so and then I'm walking through the crowd, and then I hit the altar, and they all just like, they start laughing because they're thinking, wow, you know.
That is so funny.
So for the rest of the day, I just looked at the guy. I'm like, I'm not on, right? He's like, no, you're off. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Like,
I like to play around
where's
with
my
that.
mute button?
Oh my gosh, it could have been a lot worse, I'm pretty sure. But thank God it was just me acting a fool, you know, on the way to the altar. Just
I had to tell the officiant itself I think we lost connect. Oh, it should be back. I think we kind of lost connection, everyone. So we'll see if we're actually coming back. But everybody that's actually on the radio, thank you guys so much for tuning in. So when it comes to the officiating, I had to tell some of the officiants that, hey, you know what, I got to mute your mic just in case if you got to go to the bathroom. Yeah. Right? Because sometimes they might wind up going to the bathroom and there might be something wrong there. So
that's a little too much information for us to know when you go to the bathroom. Yeah. Mute your mic, please. Yeah. We don't want to be that, you know.
Exactly. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You already know we have my girl, Elizabeth. I'm not going to chop her last name because I know she'll know it's actually me.
Staniszewski.
Oh, yes. There you go.
Thank you.
I know how to say
so
it.
I'll say Elizabeth and you'll say
Staniszewski.
Bingo. That's how we put it all together. Hey, and if you guys are tuning in right now, make sure you go ahead and share this video. Let everybody know we're rocking it out and all of that great stuff. So before we go to a quick break, so when it comes to, you know, officiating and someone wants to become an officiant, what would you tell them as far as preparation for with the couples? Because you have to meet with the couples, of course. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just reading off, you know, it's cool, right? You have the binder, you're reading off. Yeah. And it's like a standard, right, of what you want to say for a wedding. But then there's some other extra things, of course, by you learning. What would you tell someone that wants to become an officiant? How should they take that process, or what should they go through to be able to make that happen?
They need to realize that it's not just about reading a script. You have to have some character. Yeah. And when you have connected with your couples, the amount of admiration that goes into writing the ceremony, and when you present it, it's more heartfelt. Okay. So they can't be robotic and be like, okay, you know, I just printed this off the internet, I'm just going to read it, and do you? Yes. Do you? Okay, this is great, and move on. Right. They can't do that. They have to make it their own, and if that means adding a little more flavor to it by, you know, making the guests giggle a little, or, you know, I've had ceremonies where, you know, they're crying sometimes, and that's great, but, you know, it just all depends on, you have to take what you can from the couples and execute that in your ceremony and in your presentation.
Awesome. Let's go. I'm happy about that.
I love that.
I'm happy about that, you know, and I'm sure your daughter is too.
Yeah. She's happy until I send her to like Wisconsin. Then she's like, Mom.
And yeah, when we come back from this break, we'll talk about how you guys travel as well too. Because of course, wedding officiation, to be an officiant as well as coordination, it takes you all over, right? And which is good. Everybody, you already know we're here with none other than Elizabeth
Staniszewski.
Thank you. We got to sync up. All right, everybody, we're going to show you a quick, nice little video of our social media. We'll be back 30 seconds. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Yes, welcome back.
And who are we with?
We're already with Elizabeth
Staniszewski.
Let's get it on, man. Let's get it on. Yes. It's at the owner of At the Altar LLC. Yes, make sure you keep that in there, right? Keep that in there. All right. You having a good time?
I am. This is great.
Me too. I'm having a good time, too. I'm having a blast. traveling, of course, comes along with officiating and wedding coordination, right? Yeah. Of course, you have to be licensed. If I'm not mistaken, when you're ordained, are you just ordained for Illinois? What other states are you ordained to actually?
Well, we're ordained to Universal Life Churches, so that ministry is pretty popular, very well renowned. So pretty much any place in the U.S., with the exception of some of the southern states like Virginia, Pennsylvania, those particular areas, you need to be affiliated with the church.
Okay.
But for the most part, we got carte blanche. We can pretty much kind of go anywhere. So as far as our travel, we're probably about 100 miles in any direction.
Okay.
We go into Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan. I do have an officiant in Maryland. I do have one in Ohio.
Okay.
And aside from my daughter, I do have another pastor here in Illinois.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that they all work under you, or is subcontracting?
No, they all work under me.
Yeah, under you?
Yeah.
I wanted to hear that. All right, okay. I wanted to make sure I was clear, all right? I want to let them know we don't have subcontractors out there, right? Everybody work for her, Elizabeth, right? I like that. So, people that you trust to be able to go out there and do the work. Of course, by me having an event planning company, I trust so many people. Like, I only have like 3 DJs, right? Because I trust them. I know I'm able to vibe with them, right? As well. So I'm assuming you have that sync that you have as far as with people from, because Maryland, that's, you got to sync far away, you know, to make sure that everything goes well. How do you make sure, or how do you follow up as far as with your clients when it comes to officiating for someone that's out of state?
Well, first of all, with any of my couples, I'm the only one that, well, aside from Ariel, that vets our couples. Okay. So I speak with them first.
Okay.
And I let them know that I have an officiant in Maryland. Her name's Mackenzie. And if they have any...
What up, Mackenzie?
Hi, Mackenzie.
She probably working.
Probably.
Weddings all day, all night.
I'm telling you, we're growing. So yeah, I like to make sure that I touch everything. I'm a bit of a control freak that way. I know I'm working on it.
It's entrepreneur, that's all. That's all it is.
And I'm just, I talk to every couple. I let them know who their officiant's going to be. I make sure that officiant in that state reaches out to them to introduce themselves and get to know the couple a little bit so that there's no surprise on day one. It's like, are you my officiant? I know nothing about you. So I do that with all my people, and that's true even here in Illinois.
Cool. Okay, all right. I had to breathe on that one. So, check this out. So when it came to you, actually, because this is how, as an entrepreneur, like when you send someone out and you're like, make them do good. Hope they do good.
Yeah.
It's that sync, right? It's that entrepreneurship, because the thing you want to hear is nothing but great news.
Yeah.
When the couple says the officiant was the bomb.
It's that review.
It's that review.
It's that review.
It counts.
We started in 2020, and we've had 5-star ratings since.
Good.
With the exception of our most recent, but
that's okay. That's all right.
It's going to happen.
Officiant or wedding coordination?
Actually, it was a phone call.
It was a phone call?
It was a Zoom call that I missed.
Oh,
She wasn't happy. When my family planned this little surprise for me, and by the time I was able to reach out to say, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, this happened, they were waiting like 20 minutes for me or so on the Zoom, and they didn't appreciate that.
Oh.
I feel horrible. I really
Did they
do.
not hire? No, they were potential clients.
It was a potential client. Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
And they give you a bad
no, you
review
good
for
with that. You good with that.
Yeah.
Like, I know that being organized, of course, making sure that any potential customer can be a customer, right?
Oh, of course.
And of course, with that situation itself, sometimes it's hard. Yeah, I know.
It was devastating. It really did. Even my husband was like, I know this really bugging
But
you.
I mean, would you really go take your time out and give somebody a bad review?
They actually do that.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
they actually do that, which is crazy.
Well, what I'm saying is the type of person.
Thank you, Valerie.
Do you really want? You know what I mean? Like, I can see
happens.
if it happened, something crazy happened during the wedding, but if this
it wasn't a job. It was a phone call.
It's like an interview.
She was interviewing me for a job.
For the job.
Right, but
some people are like that. It's so crazy. It's so crazy
Stop
because
I'm just saying, stop it.
It's.
Come on.
But I think what happens is that
I'm sorry I missed a meeting. Something came up. Things happen, but like, It sounds like she ruined somebody's
They probably loved her at first sight. That's probably what it was.
You were probably the last option because they had already fought with every other officiant in the neighborhood. You're burned up again.
So you took the heat. You took the heat for the other ones that they didn't get along with.
Maybe dial it down a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
I did. I felt bad. I really did. I still feel bad about it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's part of being human, right?
I'm very passionate about my work.
Exactly.
So when someone comes back with a poor review like that, I take it to heart.
Yeah.
You know, I really do, and that's because I have utter respect for my clients.
We are our biggest critics always.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, we never want anybody to feel like we weren't putting our best foot forward.
Right.
So I most certainly, anybody who's ever worked with me most certainly can understand, can relate to that. But what I
that's
still
something
have
we
to
can
say
really
though.
say. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, it's just like, why go through all of that?
You took time out of your day.
But I think what happens is that since they did take that time out of their day to be able to interview her, I'm totally good with that. But what if it was flipped? What if it was the other way around? Like, can I leave you a 1 star saying, hey, you have a company, I'm just going to come on and say, hey, you guys had a meeting with me and you guys can do it. Or if you sent a text message.
I could see if it was a repeat issue. Where like, this is the second time I've had a meeting with this person.
Was it
and
the
they've
first
left
time?
me waiting.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm with you on that.
That's kind of, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. We got to go to the comments. We do have a few comments here. Question, Patty Escobar says, how do you handle stress of not being able to be there physically for out-of-state weddings as opposed to being here in Illinois where you can be here in person? We'll be there in person. Good question.
That is a good question, and I do have a lot of anxiety up to that point, but I have to let go, and I have to trust that after interviewing a person and speaking to the qualifications and hope that they're going to do well, and those reviews that come in for those particular persons in those states tells me that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Well, that's the difference between micromanaging and working as a team.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a certain amount of faith that you're working with this person. You have to have faith that they're going to deliver, or why are you working with them to begin with?
Exactly.
Right.
So, I mean, that kind of goes with that, but still the anxiety doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, so let me know when you get there. If you have any questions, do you have everything you need? And excuse me, I like I said, I vet all the couples. I still write the ceremonies for those ceremonies out of state because I don't trust anyone. Well, aside from Ariel again, she writes her own sermons. But I write all of them.
Good.
So I know what's being said, and again, the couples get the preview, so they're comfortable with it. So she just needs to deliver professionally and non-robotically, and just kind of give it a little flavor while she's there.
Add your own little spice to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's what you need to say.
So wedding coordination now, because we're getting close to that time. So wedding coordination, when it comes down to it, what is the vibe? What is your vibe? Because every couple is different. What is your vibe when it comes to doing wedding coordination for people of high strung people?
I don't know that I had anyone that was really high strung the last year.
Micromanage. So if they would micromanage.
You learn that at the very first phone call, so you'll know if if the groom
coordinator or am I?
Yeah, if the groom's asking you 50 questions and you're like, I thought I answered that 5 minutes ago, but you're going over and over. It's like, okay, he's either nervous or he just doesn't know what to say, and he keeps asking me the same thing over and over again. And you can honestly tell when you think a bride might be, your bridezilla. But then sometimes your bridezillas, they exist.
So you had a bridezilla before?
I did kind of. We did have a wedding. What a great story. It still hurts. So not that she was really a bridezilla per se that day, much. But we got there. We were hired to be day of coordinator. We got there, and she tells me, "Hey, Liz, my decor person's not coming." And I said, "Okay, well, I don't know what you want me to do." So my team, and by that I just mean me and my coordinator Ariel, we had to literally completely build an arch, had tables. We had to do all the decor ourselves, and we don't we don't do that.
That's not your wheelhouse, yeah.
No, so it's not. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hanging stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. And it turned out beautifully. But she did kind of like was getting a little bridezilla-y during the night. So every time we were doing something, she's like, that's not what I want. And I'm like, well, here we are. I cut my finger opening bottles of wine. You have a bartender. I'm serving water. We're throwing out the trash. We're doing this. We're doing that. And we're going through all this stuff through the entire night. And 16 hours later, my daughter's like, we're leaving. And I'm like, well, she's no. Again, she's, that little angel and devil.
Yeah.
But she keeps me centered. So I'm like, you're right. And I got the eye roll. Okay, we're going to be going. It's like, and I'm like, dude, I've been here like 16 hours.
Yeah.
I became your caterer, your cake cutter, your server, your this, your that, and then she stiffed me on the rest of my bills.
It's because
I'm your mom, I'm your dad.
It's when you feel like that favor turns into an expectation.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot, of us in the industry, it's hard for us to cut that off because you don't want to see somebody drowning.
Right.
You want to help.
Right.
But when you see people voluntarily cutting corners and then you offer to kind of pick up some of the slack, but then they demand for you to take the full amount. Yeah, it's very challenging. How did you walk away from that? Because you said it's hard.
We were exhausted. Everything hurt. Every orifice. I mean, everything. And I thank God for. There was this the catering company I have. There was this one girl or two. She was incredibly helpful. She was just like, let's get it done. Let's get it done. She's grabbing chairs, folding tables, and grabbing glasses and. She was amazing, and I wish I could remember her name because I would totally give her a shout out right now. She was amazing. But we walked away from that, and it was disappointing because, like I said, the bride ended up stiffing us on our fee for the extra work that we did. So
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't ever do that, people.
She was the only one that really did that. But still, it was that was my. And at that point, I considered her a bridezilla because I'm like, who does that? And I'm thinking maybe that's why the decor person didn't show up.
It's funny that you say that.
Maybe
the coordination, I know about that when I'm actually emceeing and I'm hosting, but I also know in regards to what level of where I can go, and I'm letting everybody know. I'm letting everybody know out there when it comes to wedding coordinations, the one biggest thing about understanding a timeline is that we have a timeline for a reason. And when we have that timeline for a reason, there are some extra things that may come up, but one thing you have to understand, in our contract, there are certain things that we should do, and there are certain things that we should not do. Right. And I felt that like really hard when you take that extra step. When you take that extra step, they want you to take 4 more.
That's
or 5 more steps.
So you just said you'll do a little bit of the slack, but then the expectation kicks in, and they start demanding more.
It did. That's what happened. It was a snowball effect. It just got worse and worse and worse.
And that's the crazy thing about it is because you say, yes, I'll spoil you. Yeah, but you get a little bit too spoiled, right? When you get too spoiled, and then at the end, and I'm not going to talk about cultures because I do all different types of cultures. Mm-hmm. But there's some in cultures that tips are lovely.
They're nice.
In some cultures. Yeah. Tips are not. But when there's not on tips, those are the people that want you to do more than do without. Now, these are the things that happens in the back end. We don't expect them. We don't expect the tips because we're there to do our job.
Yeah,
right?
we were already hired for a service.
But when there's people that's actually doing the extra, people realize that from certain cultures that says, hey, I'm going to give you an extra $100 here because you went above and beyond. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, well, thank you. Yeah. I can go to White Castle now, right? And I'm good, right?
Well, I do have to say there are certain cultures just in general that don't understand the concept of tipping altogether.
Boom.
And when they come in, especially like in Europe, they don't, tipping is not a concept that they do there.
Sure.
That we do here in our country.
Sure.
So like when I'm in travel, the world of travel and events. Mm-hmm. So when I have people that come in from Europe, I do let them know one-on-one, hey, tip your bellman, tip your concierges, if you go out to dine, tip your servers, to kind of just let them know because sometimes it's not that they are trying not to tip, they just don't know that's what we do here.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about, I'm pretty much talking about the U.S., right? Where weddings happen all the time. I'm sure they saw their friends tip, right? You go to restaurants, they got a tip line there, and gratuity, right? Sometimes, it's hard, right? Sometimes people know.
I did a wedding in Hawaii where like the families were from other countries.
Sure.
And they flew in there.
Okay.
So, that was a conversation that I had, when I was setting up all the hotels and all the flights, and I said, listen, this is what we do, so that, I don't want anybody to be embarrassed either.
Yeah.
But, there are certain areas it's a tipping culture.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. If you know and knowingly you don't, shame.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we got to get to what we call our music festival, everybody. So we have our music festival that's actually coming up this Friday, right? This Friday itself. Yes. It's our first one, everybody. It's our first one. So this is our online music festival for all of our upcoming artists. As you can see, that's the headline, but we got plenty more actually, that we actually have that's coming out this Friday at 7 o'clock Central Time. We are going to be playing nothing but music and congratulating all of the upcoming artists that's actually going to be on our show. This is going to be online, right? So we're going to be playing their music.
But at
the same time, too, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great time partying as far as with you guys for the music festival. So we're going to be on Mixcloud, everybody. Can we do a quick favor? Can you put up the Mixcloud link? So we have the Mixcloud link that we actually want to put up so people can know how to prepare for it. Yeah, so mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave show. So get that account. Make sure that you're actually getting your account. It's free. So make sure you prepare for that because you're going to have a great time when it comes to actually music.
You don't have to tip on Mixcloud.
That's what she said,
it's a free
right?
account.
That's what she said, right? You can tip us when you're in there, right?
Donate. We should put a tip jar in there we're showcasing new music.
Right.
Cool
so, right. They're gonna be like,
tip jar.
Hey, I'm the artist. Can I get some money too? Right?
That's what I said. Never mind.
Oh, I thought you were talking about us. We go to Portillo's after this. All right, everybody. That was our music festival. Make sure you tune in. All right, we're back. All right, you still having a good time?
Yeah, I am.
You are?
Yeah,
Me too. Yeah. I'm having a blast. All right, everybody. So,
I have a question.
You got a question?
Yeah, I do. Because we were talking about, the differences in the jobs and knowing where the handoff is and where the cutoff is, right? So you're officiating and you're a coordinator too. But sometimes people don't always pay for both services, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's like we work it into kind of like a package if they're looking for both. I just make it clear that I won't be the officiant for that day. It'll be someone else, but they still get everything through me. So they'll. So
have they ever said, "Oh man,
why did I gotta pay 2 different fees?"
No, why they can't just have you, right? Like why they say as the officiant because you talk to them first, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you talk to them first and they really like your persona and things like that, and then
I did have a bride who was kind of like a little
sad.
She was,
disappointed.
Well, yeah, because I had to something. I don't know what it was, but I think something came up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to hand you off to one of my other officiants." So
if I'm doing a destination wedding, I always let people know, like, don't skip on a wedding coordinator or wedding planner.
Oh yeah,
for sure. A lot of people think that they can skip out on that. Like, we'll just go out there and it's a package because like the hotels and stuff, they usually give you like a day planner and stuff too.
Right.
But it's not always the same.
Yeah, I think more so a
lot of the recommend.
Yeah, it's like a lot of the planners on those destination type weddings. They work for like the venue or the resort, so they're looking for more of the best interest of the hotel.
Or they're not for the bride.
So they're not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm a big advocate for coordinators, planners, because they will have your best interest in mind, and they will think about the things that you don't think about when you're on site. You cannot be walking down the aisle looking around to make sure that there's somebody there to walk your guests over to the reception hall.
Photographer and
you know when you can't be just okay. Where's everybody? You know you got to be focused on what you're doing. And I explain that a lot of times, especially because I only usually come into play for destination weddings.
Okay.
Have you ever had anybody challenge you on that? Oh, I don't need the coordinator. I could do it myself. I just need you to plan to do the officiating.
And to the, I leave it to their discretion. A lot of times when I do any bids or quotes or anything like that, it is really specific. So if they're looking for an officiant, then I'm only touching on the officiating portion of it. If it's a coordination job, and then I might bring it up. I might be like, oh, well, do you have an officiant for that day? And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't. Oh, you do that too? Yes, I do. And I'll talk them into it, and I'll be like, oh yeah, we do the coordinating, and I do have, a couple of people on staff that can do the officiating as well. And usually they're gung ho about it, unless they already have an officiant, and all they want is the coordination.
See how easy you just made that as a salesperson? You know what I mean? Because I go through it too. I'm like, yeah, you can hire. You have a DJ, and then also, I MC as well too. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're still looking for a coordinator as well. Oh, for real? Oh, I got one of those in my back pocket, right? And it was like, oh,
that's
for real?
Another thing too,
and
the
it's
whole
like,
MC thing.
What?
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'm a DJ. I can double as an MC. I'm like, really? Can you walk away from your music long enough to go engage with the crowd? Because don't say that you can MC.
All right,
it's not the same as making announcements.
Now you just opened up a can of string beans. Okay, so check this out. So what she just said. Okay, so of course I'm gonna talk about how the MC, and we kind of did this. See, she opened up a can of string beans. I don't think she understood that. Yeah, with no seeds. So what happens is that when you have an MC and host, and you have a wedding coordinator, they work together, but at one point in time, the MC is supposed to take over.
It's a handoff. Yeah.
It's a handoff with the. I know the blood pressure, right? What happens is. And me as an MC is like, I want to relieve you. Let me take care of the work and make it easier for you. But I know there's things in the back end that you have to make sure that you're going through that process.
And to touch on that for a quick second, when you and I work together, I was a little kind of like taken aback because I'm not used to working with an MC.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
It wasn't at first. It really wasn't.
It wasn't.
I'm being totally honest. Because I'm more like, okay, this is what they hired for me. Boom, 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 boom. Rico, I need you to do this. And he's like, okay, but I'm going to work up to. I'm like, I don't need you to prep. I need you to just do what I asked you to do.
Right.
Okay. Do what you're told. Yeah, this the bride gave me the sheet. This is what I'm doing. And I know he was a bit like, oh, we got one of those. All right. And he's like, I'm just going to kind of like woo-saw right now and just let her do her thing. And I'm just going to kill her with kindness until she realized, okay, he got this. And it really took a little while for when I finally was just like, and he's like, I got this, Liz, I got this, don't worry. And I'm like, oh my God, I swear to God, Rico. I don't know what to, and he went ahead, he did his thing, and I was sitting back. I really was. I was sitting back, and I'm at the counter, and I'm like, I told my daughter, I'm like, this guy rocks, man. I mean, he is so good.
I appreciate
if your
that.
Oh my
MC
God.
is on point, like, and they understand,
and
the
it was,
vibe,
it was,
and
it was. He
understand
kept it on
what
time.
they-
He goes, oh, we'll keep it on time. Don't worry. And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this, and I'm looking at the timeline. I'm like, oh my God. And then I was like looking at the timeline, and I'm just like. He would say something, I'm like, all right, it's only 2 minutes behind. We're good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how anal I would get. It's like, we're 5 minutes behind. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we 5 minutes behind?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
And I think a lot of it comes with being an MC. I think when I'm working with wedding coordinator, and this is the reason why I bring this up. Mm-hmm. And I also see why it's very important to have that MC to work with the wedding coordinator. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you both are on, but it also... For me, it's more of relieving the pain of knowing what you guys have to go through when it's time for the reception piece. Because we know that before that, the ceremony, the preparation for the ceremony, getting the vendors, and everything else. And I'm like, I know what they're feeling. I know what they're going through. And when it's time for us to be on that same plate, I say, you know what? I got it from here. Let me go ahead and take care. And then that relieves you like, oh, let me go over and eat my Jimmy John's. You know what I mean? I'm good.
I did. That's exactly what I did. My daughter and I had our Jimmy John's on the counter there.
It is when you have everybody knowing where their handoff is and staying in their lane. It is really a beautiful rhythm.
It is.
It is because you have, your host up there, your DJ doing his thing, and you've got, the coordinator, if things are running around and making sure things are in place. It can be challenging to try to do all that and then try to put on this face and engage the crowd.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're running events, and I see this all the time, it is imperative, for a smooth, seamless process to have all those pieces in there.
Yeah.
So I love you for what you do.
Oh, man, I love it too.
Thank you.
I love it too. I love my wedding coordinators, man. I do. The one thing, though, that and I know we're down to a few more minutes because we can talk about wedding coordination all day. Sorry, I'm getting all excited. So wedding coordination for you is all about, of course, it's the organization and it's making sure that everything goes smoothly for that day.
Right.
And what was your longest day that you can actually say as a wedding coordinator?
Well, that was
How many hours?
My bridezilla was about 16 hours.
That was the 16 hours. That was
that was out in Palos Heights, so we had to drive hour or so both ways. So I think I got home.
Where that's at,
yeah, I think I got home. It was probably close to about 3 or 3:30 in the morning that one night. And yeah, I told my husband, I was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened.
Wow.
And we were like, Ariel was like, never again, never again. And like I said, everything we hurt for weeks. Our bodies were just shot. And I'm like, well, guess what? We got to do this again next week. And she's like, I don't know about you, Mom, but but yeah, that was the longest. But I mean, I do offer with the coordination. I always offer up to 12 hours.
Yeah, 12 hours for the day.
12 hours for the day. And some of the brides will be like, oh, you know what? That's okay. Why don't you come in? And, the ceremony's at 5, come in at this time. I'm like, well, here's the thing. If you need me to put out any of your personal items or anything like that, I like to get there 2-3 hours prior to, before any other vendor gets there, because I need to know that they're going to be set up properly. I don't want my vendors setting up while your guests or you are arriving.
Right.
That's a problem. But
that's what we do in the industry, everybody. That's why Elizabeth
Staniszewski.
Exactly. Yeah, that's my girl. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. James Dunn from Hollywood checking in. What's up, Papa? Alejandro checking in. ¿Cómo está, Papa? And then we got my man, John T. for free.
John T. for free.
What's up, John T. for free? Thank you so much. And everybody that's actually checking in, thank you guys so much for your comments. I didn't check to see if we have anybody on our Mixcloud, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're just viewing and you're just watching, thank you guys so much. I have a shirt for you.
I will wear it proudly.
Thank you. Thank you.
We hope you do.
This shirt, the Rico and Suave show, we talk about gyms around, it used to be gyms of Chicago, right? But now we say gyms around the world because, of course, we're interviewing a lot of people that's around the world, but you, of course, travel around the world as well, too. That means the 52 states, and then if you want to go out elsewhere, you
if
can
I
do
get
that
lucky,
as well.
we'll see what happens.
Yes.
I did an elopement in Paris.
Oh, nice.
But I wasn't there. I just coordinated it.
That's
from
you.
here.
That's you. That's you. Yeah.
So that was
they had to talk to you first.
It was nerve-wracking right up until the day. Like, I was like, please don't call me. Please don't call me. Because if they're calling me, something happened.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I can't do nothing. I'm here. You're in Paris.
Good word.
Yeah.
With this shirt shows you no worries, right? This is no worries shirt, right? So the Rico and Suave show, we want to thank you so much for being on the show with us today. And thank you so much because it's good to be able to talk about the wedding industry with someone that's been in the industry.
Thank you.
As well as me. And it feels so good because I know the ins and outs and what we go through just to make our clients happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think for you, you're very passionate. You love what you do. Keep on officiating and also keep on doing that coordination. And I have to say also from being a small business and what you're doing and how many clients that you're bringing in, that's a lot, right?
It
it's
is.
a lot.
We're growing. We are growing.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Keep growing, right? Keep having an employee and always, keep me in your back pocket. You know what I mean? Welcome to the show.
If I need an MC.
Exactly.
Here he is.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to put up your social media real quick.
sweet.
We're going to put up your social media real quick because we want everybody to know if they want to get in contact with you. This is your information. So we got you on Instagram, right? We have you on Instagram at the altar _ LLC. So make sure you go there and make sure you follow her there. Here's the next one. She has a website at www.the-altar.com.
That's it.
Yes, go to that website, everybody, and make sure you go ahead and follow
for the
her
website.
there. That is all the information as far as you'll find out about her on her website. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today. You had a good time?
I did. It was a lot of fun.
I had a blast as well, too. And thank you for your sidekick and the husband and the whole family coming through.
Yeah,
next time y'all come through, y'all bring some food. Girl, I'm hungry. I'm hungry right now. I must be hungry today.
Please bring him a plate.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you being here. Put your hands together, everybody. My girl, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here, but I want you guys to follow us on our information. Yeah, so make sure you follow us. So here is our social media. www.riconosuaveshow.com is where you'll find all of the information about us. We have a new website, everybody. So please make sure you go there and share everything about us. You can also live stream. We live stream from our website as well as on the audio. So make sure you watch and listen to the show. Here's the next one. Boom. Yes. At Rico No Suave Show. At Rico No Suave Show is on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. We are growing. We are getting big on Instagram. And we have nothing but great content out there as well, too. All right. Here's the next one.
Facebook.
Rico No Suave Show, Facebook. Make sure you go ahead and like.
Love, love, love.
All day, every day. That's what she said. So make sure you guys go ahead and do that. All right. Here's the next one. Our YouTubers, yes, Rico No Suave Show. Rico No Suave Show is where you want to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Share this video. Share it with everybody and their grandma. Abuelita. Yes. All right, everybody, here's our last one. Our last one, of course, we talk about Mixcloud, so make sure you prepare for our show for this Friday at mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. Make sure you go ahead and follow us there. All right, everybody. Okay, so everybody, we're going to get out of here. We want to thank you guys so much for actually being on the show with us. And we do have to give a big shout out. My guy, John. John Manning. He's actually been one of our interns that was here from us for, I think it's over a year, right, John? Is it over a year you've been with me? 2 years now?
2 years.
Man, 2 years. Yeah, wow, man, time fly by fast when you're having fun. But my man is actually going back to school. We want to congratulate him and his success in regards to going back to school to get his master's, right? And then you're going to get his doctorate. I think he's going for his doctorate.
He's going to go the whole 9.
Yeah, he's doing the whole thing. Woo! So congratulations to John.
And thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we got to get out of here. So we'll see you guys as we end off the show just like this.